Hello everyone, welcome to another real-time and raw drawing tutorial video where I'm gonna show you how to draw realistic hair using graphite pencils. And here it's a bit complicated to draw, especially if the hair is has a lot of flyaways or a bit curly. It's quite difficult to draw, but this is how I do it. So I hope you watch the entire real-time drawing tutorial video featuring hair and graphite pencils. First of all, let me protect the graphite with this wooden ruler from my sweaty hands right here. And I'm gonna start with my indenting tool. This tool is very important, especially if there are some highlighted strands of hair that are so intensely white that is hard to capture with just eraser. So I'm gonna use this indenting tool right here. But because based on the reference photo, I can see some sharp highlights. But I need to be careful to just use the indenting tool on the areas where there are some sharp highlights or strands that are extremely highlighted. Because some highlights can be done with just using mono zero eraser, but there are some strands that are extremely white or highlighted. And then the bigger ball, metal ball right here on there, I can see right on this part a little thick highlighted hair. And then I'm gonna start by building the shape of the hair, or by blocking in the darkest parts or shadow of the hair using the 3B. So I'm gonna start with the 3B. When you block in the dark shadows, it's like you are drawing the shape of the hair, so you will know where the hair or the wave of the hair or the shape of the hair is going. So you're just gonna follow the very dark parts or shadows of the hair using a dark pencil, which I'm using right now, the 3B. So these shadows are the ones under the shape or the volume of the hair, so it will give the hair volume and shape. So I think I may add some darker pencils or shade later on, but for now I'm satisfied with the darkness of this 3B to capture the shape of the hair. You don't at this stage where you are blocking in the shadows, you don't need to worry about the tiny details or strand of the hair. You are drawing based on the clumps or the volume of the hair, and not really focusing on individual strands. Not yet. Make sure that you don't push hard on the pencil, because it's gonna flatten the tooth of the paper, so you just apply with very light pressure. So it's important, if you are learning graphite, it's important to use different shades or different grades of pencils, because you cannot achieve the saturate, or rather the darkness that you want with a pencil when you push hard. You just use darker grades of pencil. So here I'm still using the 3B because I just want to establish the shape of the hair. So I'm looking back and forth on my reference photo to know exactly where the dark shadows, or the dark shadows underneath the hair, to establish its shape. So gradually I was able to establish the actual shape of the hair. So you'll know that this is a real-time and raw video, because you can hear everything outside my studio. So I can see that there are certain areas that a bit darker than the shade of the 3B, so I might add like 5B or 7B later on, but uh, now I just want to focus on the shade of the shadows. So just like the skin tone, I'm gonna do the layering technique with the hair, because you cannot just draw realistic hair with just one or two layers. You really need to go back and forth until you're satisfied with the details and the structure of the hair. So I'm keeping my 3B sharp because I want to be able to just make it more realistic. So as you can see, the 3B is just the perfect shade of pencil to begin with the dark shadows. Because if you use very dark pencil at this stage, it would be very difficult to adjust. So the 3B is amazing, doing an amazing job of just drawing or capturing the shape or the flow of the hair. So this is our first layer. So I'm gonna add some more shade or shadow. I think I'm almost done with my first layer, or with the blocking in of the shadow. The next thing to do is to blend this first layer. The first layer is always the most difficult to blend because there are not much layers to blend it very easily with a brush. So the most effective and the most efficient and quickest way to blend our first layer is to use a soft tissue paper right here. So I'm just gonna put it around my finger right here, and then I'm not gonna use circular motion. I'm gonna use a straight approach or movement. So using the tissue paper, you can see how easy it is to blend the 3B, and instantly everything becomes very nice and smooth. As you can see, it even the tissue even deepens the tone of the 3B. And you can apply pressure because the tissue is not going to hurt or to ruin the paper or the tooth of the paper. So as you can see, I'm doing this kind of drawing lessons in real time, because I realized that a lot of you, especially beginners on different pencil medium, I'm surprised that you prefer long video, because before I used to think that I'm gonna bore you with long real-time video, but surprisingly you appreciate longer real-time video better than time lapses. So that's why you can expect a lot of this kinds of tutorial on my channel in the next days. But there are different ways and approach that you will develop as you progress with portraiture, particularly with graphite or with drawing hair. But this, I'm just showing you the most effective way and perhaps the quickest way to draw realistic hair with graphite pencils. So there, I was able to establish the hair right here. Now I'm gonna use my big makeup brush right here, very soft brush, to just even out everything right here. Now I'm gonna use my Mono Zero eraser for the first level of erasing for the highlights. So the pressure of the eraser depends on the whiteness or the lightness of the hair strand, the highlighted hair strand. And then some of the flyaway hair on this part. Now I'm gonna do the second layer of the shadows, the dark shadows, using still the 3B. But at this point, I just want to define the shadows. So this is a bit more like I'm starting to add details because now I can see where the position or where is the place of these shadows. So I'm just gonna define it, and as you can see, it becomes a little bit more darker. And at this point, you can see the indented part at the beginning. Those details start to show up. Like here, this is the indented, solid indented but part right here. So when we add dark pencil around it, it becomes more intense. So the main tip here is to go layer after layer and do not rush your hair. By the way, the pencil, the graphite brand that I'm using here is my favorite brand of graphite ever. This is the Mitsubishi High Uni graphite pencil. My reference photo is black and white, but looking at the reference photo, even if it is black and white, I can say that her hair is not very dark. Maybe she has a dark brown hair. That's why I think I'm not gonna be using very dark grades of pencil. So as you can see, the dark shadows or the dark areas are being defined even more on this second layer of 3B. Now I want to draw some individual strand of hair here on the edge of the forehead. Okay, now I'm gonna blend for the second time, but this time I'm not gonna be using tissue. I'm gonna be using this small soft makeup brush right here. So because this is already the second layer, the graphite starts to become a lot easier to blend. So as you can see, it's really important to do multi-layering, not just with the skin tone but also with the hair. Again, my large brush. Now I'm gonna be using my B pencil for lighter hair strands, particularly on this part of the forehead. There are several loose light hair. So this pencil is very strong, the B, so I was able to sharpen it this long right here because you can have a lot of flexibility when your graphite is this long. But I only do this kind of sharpening on the harder pencil. So the hardest pencil that I was able to do this is this B, and then the rest is the H grades or the hard grade. Now there are some darker strands of hair, so I'm gonna go back to the 3B. But I want to make the 3B extra sharp for the darker strands of hair. I want to make it a little bit quicker, the stroke. Now I'm gonna use the big brush to slightly blend everything, but you don't want to fully blend them because you're gonna lose the strands or the details that I just put a while ago. Now I'm gonna be doing the second level of erasing or highlighting using again my monozero eraser. It's gonna gently clean. It's time to add more contrast or more dark details using 5B. I think it is going to be the darkest pencil right that I'm gonna be using on this hair drawing. Now you are more intentional to darken specific shadow or detail, because adding contrast makes the drawing more realistic and it adds more volume to the drawing. And I also might want to go around the details or the highlights. Okay, now we are going to do our final blending. Now I'm gonna do my final erasing for the highlights. So there you go. That's how you draw complicated hair with lots of contrast and details right here with graphite pencils in real time. Thank you very much for watching. If you learned something from it or if you have anything to say, I want to hear it. I want to hear it from you on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching.